Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm super happy to have you here. We're going to dive right on in and take a look at the energy, see what's going on for Pisces, please Spirit. Can you please show us what Pisces needs to know right now? What is in Pisces' highest and best good? Keep in mind guys, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. For Pisces, please Spirit, for Pisces. What does Pisces need to know right now? Wow. Okay. Okay, man, oh man, oh man. Okay. Pisces, I don't know. There is this energy here for some of you. And this could also be your person, so just keep that in mind, okay? You know, someone, it's like, no matter how they looked at a situation, or no matter even like how they looked at life or their life, or the circumstances, you know, what they wanted and where they were at, it's like they just, I feel had a bit of an endless loop about why this wasn't gonna work and that wasn't gonna work and this wasn't gonna fix it and that wasn't gonna fix it. It's, you know, when we always find what we're looking for. And this energy came out really strong yesterday on my other channel, Elysian Lotus Tarot, which was my first channel that I used to post on, but I read for all signs, and then I started this channel so I could read for single signs. And I stopped reading on my other sign, on my all signs channel, when I realized how much I really loved reading for Pisces. That's the direction it took. It wasn't even my intention when I started this channel. Anyway, I've started posting over there randomly. Well, you know, a couple times a week or whatever. So if you're interested in that, it's Elysian Lotus Tarot. But here's what I'm trying to tell you. It even came out over there in yesterday's reading. Stuck is a state of mind. There is only one real constant truth that we can say always, always, always is true, okay? And that is that we are in a state of impermanence, that everything is always changing. As I have sat here and talked to you, I have gotten older. You know, as I have sat here and talked to you, the planets have shifted in the sky. Babies have been born, people have died, stars have been born, stars have died. Just as we have been sitting here talking. Change is constant. It is always happening. It is always happening, okay? And so stuck, obviously, is not in alignment with change. You know, stuck is, I'm deeply entrenched in this. I cannot possibly change it. I cannot see a way out of it. I keep asking myself the same question and getting the same answer. Okay? But stuck is a human condition. It is, you know, we're never stuck. We're really never stuck. We may feel stuck, but we are never stuck. Things are changing. We are changing. Circumstances are changing, like constantly, always. And so what usually breaks us free of being stuck is being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, it's being tired of being stuck, of wanting something different, craving something different, yearning for something different. And saying, I'm no longer going to tolerate this. I have to find a way out. It's that old adage, like, you never know how strong you are until, you know, it's tested. And so you never know kind of your own capacity to embrace change or to find the solution until you're so desperate for the solution that you will try something that feels like a risk, or try something that, or just try something, you know, sometimes the fear of failure is so paralyzing it prevents us from moving forward, right? So most of the time when we're stuck, it's because we're asking ourselves the same question over and over again. And we have developed an Eight of Swords pattern where we are giving ourselves the same answer. And sometimes maybe we are out with a friend or something and they're like, why don't you leave that job that you hate? You know, it's got you stuck. And you're like, well, I can't leave it because I have to pay my rent and I have this car payment and I have a kid and I've got to eat and, you know, so I can't leave this job. And then your friend says, well, you know, they're hiring at my company. If you want to, you know, give me your resume, I'll hand deliver it to HR and put in a good word for you. And at first it's like, oh, wow, you know, that sounds amazing, you know, but then you start thinking about what this person has told you about their job. And you start saying to yourself, you know, I'm just trading the devil I know for the devil I don't know. And you start going around and you're like, nah, you know, thanks. I'll let you know if it gets to that point, you know, and you're like, well, I do feel a little better because I have an emergency exit strategy, but, you know, it's not one that I'm excited about. It's not one that I'm content with. And if I'm going to leave my job, I'm going to leave it for something that I'm really excited about. You know, I have X amount of years in with this company or, you know, whatever. Because that mentality just shows us that we always find what we're looking for. And oftentimes stuck is our ego's way of protecting us, is our ego's way of bringing us around to don't change, don't move from this space. You're safe in this space. You know what this space is. You know what to expect from this space. You may not be happy, but you're safe. And the ego's job is to keep us safe. And so we always find what we're looking for. And so if we're letting our ego be in charge, you know, we're going to get stuck. And we're going to get stuck probably multiple times. And we're going to get kind of deeply entrenched in our point of view. And we're going to wonder, how the hell did I get here? You know, why does my life look like this and other people's life look like that, you know? And it's only when we finally get to the place where we're like, it doesn't have to be this way, and I can't stand for it to be this way, and this isn't living, that we really bring out the big guns and go, all right, maybe it's not external to me. Maybe it's internal to me, this reason why I'm in this place and this, you know, trench that I kind of inadvertently built for myself. And oftentimes when people are in this situation, they play the blame game. You'll hear it in what they say. You know, it's their job, it's their boss, it's the company's new policy, it's the government, it's this, it's that, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, and honestly, the more spiritual that you become, the more you understand that, you know, freedom is a state of mind. It is a place that exists for all of us all of the time. We just have to tap into that. We are not, no matter what our circumstances, no matter what our situation is, we are spiritual. We can overcome any human condition spiritually. And we all have that capacity. And one of the best, most important things to always remember is our present power. In this moment right here, you have the capacity to change everything, especially right now in the Lionsgate portal. Guys, can't stress it enough. This, in the present moment, this is the only moment that we can actually do anything with. The past is done. We cannot change. I wish I would have gone to college. Wish I would have graduated high school. Wish I would have had a different family. Wish I would have taken that opportunity when it came up. Wish I wouldn't have moved 1,100 miles to follow this person. Wish I wouldn't have spent 10 years hoping that this person was finally going to see me and finally love me and finally treat me the way I deserve. Wish I hadn't invested so much in that. Wish I had invested more in that. Wish I had bought stock in Apple in 1980. you know, whatever. All of those things only lead us to depression and only lead us to a sense of powerlessness, because we have no power over the past except to release it. That's the only power we have over the past. It's to just fucking let it go. To just be like, it's over, it's done, move through the space, survived it, got everything I needed from it, obviously. I'm here now. This is where I'm meant to be. I need to leave that shit behind. I need to let go of that narrative. I need to let go of that personality. I need to let go of that story, that point of view, that energy, and I need to step into my true and present power, where I actually have command of the situation, where I actually have the opportunity to create my future and create the world of my dreams. In this moment right here, you can launch 1,000 ripples into the universe. You can step into alignment with the future that you want. You can step out of the shadow of the past that you don't want. You can create anything that you want, but you can only do it right here, right now. You can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not even promised to you. And doing that is going to make you extremely anxious about tomorrow. It's going to put unnecessary pressure on your future self, which is going to really make you anxious. The best thing we can do, and this is why I love yoga, because yoga brings you here every single time. It does for me. I don't know. Not everything works for everybody, and I'm not saying what works for me is definitely working for you, nor am I suggesting that you should do yoga, although I would offer to you that you might want to try it, especially if you have ideas in your head about what yoga is or that it's difficult. It is not difficult. And no matter what your health conditions are, you can do yoga. You just have to find the yoga for you. But yoga is a way of life, and it's so much more than just asanas. But yoga, my yoga teacher always says, just this moment, just this breath. When you feel yourself overwhelmed, when you feel yourself getting depressed, when you feel yourself getting anxious, just call your presence back to this moment. Just this moment, just this breath. Take everything else and let it fall away. It's not important. It's either what brought you here or where you're going. It doesn't matter. What matters now is what you do with right now, because right now you are setting up tomorrow's opportunities. And you are shedding old skin that you have outgrown, old stories that you have outgrown. You're aligning right now with your highest and best if you're mindfully aware. And to be mindfully aware, the greatest thing is to focus on your breath. That which tethers our soul to our body, that which is unseen, that which we take for granted, which we don't even have to think about, right? Just bring your attention to your breath exactly the way it is. The inhale and the exhale. It doesn't need to be anything other than what it is. You do not have to count. You do not have to, force yourself to hold your breath. You do not have to force yourself to inhale more deeply. You can, and there are lots of really amazing breathing exercises, but just bringing your brain and all, just stopping everything and letting it all fall away and bringing your entire focus in to that breath, to that inhale and that exhale. And the knowledge that you are exactly where you're meant to be. Sometimes I will match my inhales with the word, with like I'm breathing in peace. And when I exhale, I will say I'm letting go of anything that's ready to be let go of. And you can just sit and flow like that. And that is a high use of this moment in time. That does bring you fully present into this moment, and it does empower you, and it does bring you into a higher state of being than just mindlessly popping Cheetos in your mouth, scrolling on your phone, drinking a Coke, Focusing on your breath, that is such a healthy choice. That is that is actually going to contribute something really beautiful to your life. And if you want to, you can begin to add, you know, the vision that you hold for your future. And you can begin to then add how it feels, what it smells like, what the conversations are, how it feels to be able to move around the world as that being, as that form of yourself. Really allow yourself to explore that. That's a very powerful use of this moment. It's a very, very, very powerful tool of co-creation. Our thoughts are so important. They create our reality. So even in this moment, even if you use this reading right now, right here as a manifestation, you close your eyes and you go along and you picture it as if it is, you know, then it will be. And you have to trust that. You have this energy of present power, which feels to me that someone is like, this feels like that decision of, I just can't stay here. I just can't stay stuck and miserable like this. You know, it goes against our soul. You know, we're here to grow. We're here to evolve. We're here to change. We are here to experience this constantly changing world. And, you know, so to be stuck and to be limiting ourselves and to be saying, the same thing over and over again. And honestly, when we are mindful in the moment, we see in ourselves that we are finding what we're looking for. If we're being really true with ourselves and we're stuck and we keep coming around to the same question and the same answer, you will eventually get exasperated with yourself. You will eventually just say, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be stuck like that. Nobody does. But we find ourselves there all the time. And you have conversations with 10 people, at least one of them is going to be stuck. So this feels to me like someone who has really reached a place of irritation with themselves. You know, that they have opportunities, that there are different possibilities, and that they're not exploring them. You know, you have a tiger and a lion here in the present power card, and it is just, you know, it does remind me of the strength card, right? Where it's like we're overcoming our lower vibrational tendencies. And really and truly, as human beings, we are very rarely present in the moment unless we have figured out how to live consciously and mindfully. We're usually in about 10 places at the same time. Well, at least I think women more are like this than men, but men get lost in their heads as well. Maybe not quite as many places at the same time. But we are usually in the past, or we are usually in the future. We are usually not going, what is the highest and best use of this moment? I ask myself that all the time throughout the day. When I find like I've completed a task, I will say to myself, what is the highest and best use of this moment? Where should I move on from here? Where should I go? And I allow myself to be led in that direction. And sometimes, you know, I'll say, well, it's probably this, but I just don't feel like I have the energy for it. And I also recognize the importance of rest. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to sit down and read, you know, or I'm going to, whatever. I sometimes knit too, but you know what I mean? It's not always about doing. It's not always about a task. It's not always about that. It can be about, you know what, visualizing, listening to mantras, you know, turning on a frequency channel on Spotify and, you know, just closing your eyes and leaning back on your couch and just letting that healing energy or that inspiring energy or whatever frequency you're tuned to, you know, take you there, you know, affect you, move through you. So anyway, with the present power and this intuition and manifestation, I do feel like it is kind of saying it is an important use of the time here to, instead of allowing ourselves to keep deeply entrenching ourselves in where we are and the reality of the current moment and everything that we like and don't like and have an opinion on and feel we can and cannot change. Instead, let's just close our eyes and envision, focus on our breath and envision what it is we want. Let's turn our focus to the future. Let's spend this time aligning with where we're going instead of, you know, telling ourselves the same story over and over again and, you know, remaining locked and stuck in a place. So this could be your person who, you know, may have really been resistant to evolution or growth or change, who is now kind of starting to really come into the present moment and may even be, whether they're aware or not aware, visualizing, manifesting. I gotta see what my grand dog is chewing on. You have mommy time, love drunk, obsessive lover, finally gaining clarity, and karmic relationship. Oh, okay, great. That you're doing a good job, girl. This feels, and then there's like bound to you. You see the bound to you energy and the stuck energy. The whole time I was saying this stuck energy, I kept getting the energy that I get a lot as a tarot card reader of, you know, I've tried to set myself free. I've tried even cord cutting. I've tried this, I've tried that, but I just can't break free of this person. I just can't let it go. I just can't. I don't know why. I usually move on so easily, but this time I just can't move on. And, you know, I'm stuck. We're never stuck, and you can move on. But if you keep telling yourself that you can't move on, and if you keep telling yourself, for some reason, I'm stuck to this person, you're going to be stuck to that person, and you're going to be stuck to that person probably indefinitely until you make a different decision for yourself. Your thoughts create your reality. So if you are going to sit and think like, okay, I'm stuck, I can't let go of this person, then you won't be able to. I mean, that will be your truth. And it feels like, again, there is this energy with mommy time and love drunk. If you are a parent and you are stuck, oftentimes it takes your attention away from your kids. It takes your attention away from the rest of your life, the rest of your story. And it prevents you from seeing the love that you do have in your life and the abundance that you do have in your life, because you're so focused on what you lack, on what you're missing, on what you're stuck to, on what you are powerless to. And you're continuously handing over your power to that place, right? Because you're saying, I have no control over this. I've tried everything and I have no control over it. You do. You absolutely have control over it. It's in your mind. And I hate to say that, but it is true. And I've seen super powerful soulmate connections in the cards, and I've seen and I've gone through this with so many clients, you know, over the years. And, you know, I have one client who came to me for 4 years on the same person, on the same energy. And, you know, it was like, yeah, this person is, you know, they're thinking about you. They're, you know, they are, they know you're a soulmate. They know all this stuff, right? But this person was miserable, and they had their whole life kind of on hold, wrapped up in this person for 4 years. And, you know, they never could fully release it. And I stayed patient with the person. I constantly showed them their other options, because that's what the cards say. You can tell in the cards, you know, that, you know, they could move in a different direction, or they could make a different choice for themselves, or that there were other alternatives. And even at different points, there were new people or new energies around them that, you know, they just had to like move toward, or accept, or open up to receive, or let go of the past in order to step forward. But they persisted and kept saying, no, you know, it's this. And that same client came to me. I didn't hear from her for 2 or 3 months. And then she came to me and she said, I finally figured it out. And I said, oh, really? And she goes, yeah, you've been trying to tell me this forever. And I was like, well, I don't really try to advise anyone, and I don't know what's better for you. Honestly, my own best friend came to me and just directly asked me, you know, she was in a relationship like that for like 2 years. This guy would not be seen in public with her. Like, they were together all the time, but he wouldn't commit, wouldn't be seen in public with her, wouldn't let their relationship go public. And they did work for the same employer, but in like totally different departments, and there was no problem with that. And she finally reached a point where she was like, this isn't what I want. And that's really what it takes. It really takes us getting to the place of saying, I don't want to be stuck. I don't like this reality. This isn't what I want. I don't want to be sitting here wishing I was somewhere else. I want to be sitting here in a life that I have carefully created for myself, that I'm happy with, and that I enjoy, and that I like. And anything that is pulling my energy away from that, or making me feel like I lack something in this life, is not helping me. It's draining me. It's taking away from my ability to be grateful and fully present in this moment. And so I am taking my power back from that. I am making a choice that is different than that. And that's what it feels like here with this love drunk and this mommy time, and the finally gaining clarity. And, you know, it says karmic relationship, and, you know, I don't want to get into all the definitions of relationships and stuff. I'm one of those people that really does not believe that that language is, I mean, I carefully try to choose my words and everything, right? But like, our language is so limiting and is so pathetic in comparison to life. If you study yoga and you study Sanskrit, and Sanskrit is a vibrational language, it's actually the vibration of, like, my dog's name is Bhakti. Bhakti means love and devotion in Sanskrit. So when I say his name, he's like, what do you want, Mom? When I say his name, I'm actually putting the frequency of love and devotion out into the world. And like, my dog is extremely loving and devoted. Like, for real. Aren't you, Bubba? Yeah, handsome boy. Yeah. My baby. I love you so much. And so that's why I named him Bhakti, right? But, right, is that how you got your name? He knows that story by heart. So anyway, I just like to say karmic relationship, and to say, well, all it is karmic. Well, nothing is just that. It's a lesson. It's a opportunity for us to expand and to grow and to become more enlightened and to learn something more about ourselves. And believe me, if you've ever been in a situation like this, and I know a lot of you have, where you just feel like you can't let go of somebody, or you can't let go of a situation or something, you know that it changes you as a person. You know that you grow and that you learn immeasurably through that experience. You learn a lot about discipline, to be honest with you, of yourself, and of, you know, the need to pay attention to your energy and to stay mindfully plugged in and to stay conscious and to also stay open to the lesson and to the gift and to the opportunity that presents itself through every relationship, no matter what you want to call it, soulmate, karmic, twin flame, whatever. Every single one of them provides an opportunity for us to learn. But even in the imagery of this card, there's this cage and there's this couple that has stepped out of it. And even the web back there are all things you get stuck in, right? But here they are standing, but they're both skeletons, which is like the death card. It's transformation. It's transformation through the experience of being in a relationship. It wasn't for nothing. It wasn't wasted. You're not stupid. You're not pathetic. You're not anything. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and this lesson was for you. And it's for many of us. It is something many of us have to learn. And even if we don't learn it through a karmic relationship or a soulmate relationship or a twin flame relationship or whatever, it's a lesson that we learn some other way typically, in this life, okay? And so there's just something here about freeing ourselves from the past and the shadow of the past and the narrative of the past and the stuckness of the past. And stepping into what do we want it to look like. Oh, honey. No. My little grand dog is not feeling very good today. And I took her out and she wanted to eat grass. And now she just pulled my pothos plant down off my desk, trying to eat it, I'm guessing. Girlfriend, we do not eat plants. No, we do not eat plants. All right, so let's see what we have here. This could also be the completion of a cycle. It can be that, like, you have gone through this and now you are releasing this energy. Wow, it says, I have intentionally made myself unavailable. I thought I could trust you. This is like a lifeline. Love me or leave me. I search for you endlessly. I have nothing left to give you. We've been here before, baby. Yeah, hello, that is just classic. I am not the one you remember. Ooh, I love that. Because you're changed, because you're not the same person that got stuck. You're not. You have learned, you have grown, you have found within yourself this knowledge, this deep knowing that your life is, you have such a precious finite amount of time on this planet. My great aunt used to say all the time, there's only two things that you cannot get more of: land and time. She would always say that, and I've always been consciously aware of owning land and having time, or you know what I mean, because she really put that in me, and the thing is that, right, okay, so when we spend our time, how we spend our time is really important, because we don't have much of it. We are probably always going to want more. And even if at times in our lives we think, I'd be all right if it ended now. No, there's going to come another moment on the other side of that breath where you realize there's just never going to be enough, You have this energy here of, it's like going over the same old territory. Nothing is changing. I'm constantly longing for you. The Pink Floyd song Wish You Were Here is playing in my head. It's like we're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, going over the same old ground. Have we found? I don't know. I don't know. I can't believe I can get that many words. And they might not all be right. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's like I'm empty of this. I'm empty of the want of it. I'm empty of the purpose of it. Because now it's like the moment that I'm spending on it is worth more to me than holding on to this hope or this idea. And you know what's messed up? I was actually just talking to one of my daughter's friends about this, about time wasters. You know, when you leave something kind of undone, when you feel like, oh, but there was so much more potential there, or I saw something more than that in this situation, or all of these things, there's an energy of no closure, no completion. And our brain is wired for completion. Our brain is wired for closed circuitry. We turned it on and then we went through the whole cycle and then we turned it off. You know what I mean? And when you don't ever really turn it off, there is this piece left undone. And I've said this on this channel, it's like leaving the house and feeling like, did I leave my curling iron plugged in? Did I close the garage door? Did I lock the front door? Like whatever it is, wherever you are, and your mind keeps coming back to it. And the thing is that people who occupy spaces like this quite frequently know how, you are a mess today, girlfriend, who know how to sort of perpetuate that. They might, like, especially with social media and stuff, I thank God that I didn't go through dating and stuff during social media. Like, holy crap. I mean, Facebook, I guess, I don't know, Facebook really wasn't a thing, or at least it wasn't for me. Email was still relatively new. Like, I remember when my friends got email addresses at college, we were all like, wow, this is crazy, we have email addresses. What I'm trying to say here is just that they will ping you and they will remind you that they exist. They'll watch your story, they'll like your post, they'll show up, they'll move their way up to the top of your feed, but they're not taking action, they're not coming towards you. It's like my readings, and believe me, I'm not here to judge anyone. I try very hard to completely be in a non-judgmental space that is just unconditionally loving. That I try to be loving awareness, like Ram Dass, I try, I'm human, right? But I definitely am not judging. But when I have a client, I understand the difficulty of it. I understand we've all been here for some reason or another, wanting something from someone, or wanting something from life, or wanting something to change, or hoping something's going to change, or holding space for something to change, but it doesn't. But we haven't lost hope, so we just keep kind of staying open to the possibility of it, and hoping for it, and kind of allowing it to take space up in our life. And that's what this feels like right here. And it's kind of like, it feels like, I thought I could trust that you could come back, or that you would come back, or I believed in you, and I thought you would eventually get brave and show up. And, I have seen lately in readings, especially, somebody may, they might, but I don't think it's the vast majority. I just don't. I think that, a lot of people in this world at this time, and it might be all times, but I can't speak for that because my only experience is here and now, are just not brave. We have like a real groupthink mentality. We have like, there's just, people are not asking questions. I mean, I was just talking to my daughter about these boycotts. Like, she was telling me that now people are boycotting American Eagle because of some like eugenics something. I have no idea. Anyway, it just doesn't really matter to me, but if you look at it and you just zoom out from it, you know, people are boycotting Target, right? And it's like, who benefits from us boycotting Target? Who benefits? Amazon and Walmart. Guess, and the people boycotting Target are boycotting the Trump administration. I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I'm not even putting out a political point of view here. I'm just saying, look at it. Who was at his inauguration dinner? The CEO of Walmart and the CEO of Amazon. Who wasn't there? The CEO of Target. They all canceled their DEI programs. So where do you think that seed came from? The seed came from the people that stand to benefit. Always chase the money back. And so, yeah, if we pick off these smaller businesses, right? Target is smaller than Walmart and Amazon for sure. If we pick, but we need Target. We need Target. Target keeps Walmart and Amazon somewhat on the up and up. We need them. We have to have them. I understand that we're upset. I understand that people are feeling, you know, uncared for and stuff. But we can't just go, oh, okay, we're all going to just not shop at Target and that's going to make a change. You know what it's going to do? It's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to give more power to the powerful. Like, we need to be bigger than this. We need to not just go with, oh, okay, everybody's doing this now. We have to think for ourselves. You know, we have to say, well, who gains from that? Well, what happens with that? You know what I mean? And I'm not just sitting here trying to pick on that, you know? And it's not that statements don't need to be made or that we should all just like let the world go in the way the world is just going to go. But I think, you know, and I don't even know how we got on this topic, but, and I guess I'm just going to let that go there. This reading is all over the place, my God. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of, it's always kind of been this way, or we've just been doing it this way, or we have just accepted that this is our life, or we have become dependent on something outside of ourselves to such a degree that we have given our power up to it. And we can spend years like that. We can spend decades like that. And you know, we could spend the rest of our life like that, right? But in the present moment, when we call ourselves back to this present moment and we reconnect with ourselves and we let the past and the future fall away and we're just here right now, this is where we have the capacity to do something about it. And so if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you're going over the same old territory and you feel like you have lost your power to something, know that you are the only person that can give your power away, and you are the only person that can take your power back. And we have the opportunity to do that here and now. That's basically it in a nutshell. And you will not be the same person that went into this and that was here for this person and that fell for this person and that left this energy open to this person to constantly remind you and call you back to, hey, remember me? Hey, don't leave. Don't give up on me. I'm going to give you a little bit of a shot of hope today. And you know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Just don't do it. All right, here we go. Moving on to the tarot, guys. It's time. Just remembering to zoom out in life and to look at the role that things are playing in your life. So important. So important. We all get bogged down. We all lose it. We all lose our sense of it. All of us do. But we have the capacity to bring ourselves back into it. We have the capacity to call our power home. I really do think this Lion's Gate is powerful because I feel like that's even the energy we're talking about here right now today. You know? You have the Six of Wands with the Hangman. With the Ace of Cups. Okay. Wow. I mean, man. So the Six of Wands is like a need for recognition. And it is a lot. It does talk a lot about external validation. And a lot of times too, when we have feelings for someone, or when we start to see someone in a certain kind of light, like they could be my forever person, our ego will want to be recognized by that person in the same way. And if it's not, it receives injury, and it will try to convince you to spend a lot of time gaining that back, or gaining, winning that, and it will also, even if it's not making progress in that way, it will also sometimes encourage us to take bigger steps, or to make gestures, or to get someone's attention, or to, maybe if they knew that I still cared about them, then, maybe it would be easier for them to come back around. Maybe if this, then that, and we can get really bogged down in that energy of really focusing in on and feeling like, or telling ourselves, I need this. I need this recognition. I need to have success in this department. I need to not give up. If I don't give up, then I will eventually get there. But when that works a lot in life, and you won't lose, right? But you may never get there. You may just perpetuate the cycle that you're in, right? But is that really what you want to do? Is that really how you want to spend your time? Is it really worth it to you? And if you just respond and you're in this state of mind, you're going to say yes, unequivocally yes. But if you really sit with yourself with the Hangman energy, and you really ask yourself, and you really go, let me see, what led me to this point? What led me to feeling this way? And, sometimes you can trace it back to your childhood, and being emotionally neglected, or, even feeling less than, or feeling unworthy, and then saying, I'm never going to feel that way again. And then having someone reject you that you cared about, or that you could see a future with. And the funny thing is, and I don't want to say it's a funny thing, but it is like an ironic thing or something like that. If you strip away all this stuff, right, all these beliefs that we have, or how it made us feel, or what our egoic reaction was to like being rejected or abandoned or whatever, you may find that you don't even really like that person that much. Or that, this is someone who habitually cannot show up. This is someone who's habitually not brave. You're standing there ready to be brave. Do you want to be partnered with someone who's not brave? Do you want to go through life with someone that you have to drag around by the collar and say, hey, this is what we're doing, get with it? That you perpetually have to ask for what you need from? Or do you want to be with someone who's secure, and who's showing up, and who's like, I'm intuitively knowing that you need a hug right now? Or I'm showing up at your place of work with a cup of coffee because I kept you up until 3 o'clock in the morning watching this movie series, and I know you're exhausted, and I know you're probably barely making it through the day, and I can, and so I will. Is that really what you want? Is someone that you perpetually have to try to keep focusing on you and being brave enough to step up to you? Is that what you want? I'm pretty sure not. Ace of Cups. This is self-love. This is an anhinga, but it's even giving me like Phoenix energy of rising up, that loving myself so much that it puts me on a new path, that it empowers me, and that it enables me to like open up to all the possibilities. The unknown isn't scary at all when it is exciting. And when it's exciting is when you realize the limitlessness of it, that the universe could just surprise you at any given moment. You can walk around going like, man, this might be my lucky moment all the time, expecting like, is this going to be the day? I don't know. You know? Wow. Major Piscean energy here, the Hangman being clarified by the High Priestess. You know, you have a King of Swords here, and his sword is pointing down. And, you know, he's got this sort of nonchalant energy. Like, look at his leg positions. You know, he's kind of cocky, kind of arrogant, and kind of like, you know, there's kind of this self-assured thing about him, like, almost like, I know I can get you hooked on me. I know I can keep you right here under this sword. I don't have to be upfront. I don't have to be honest. I don't have to show up. I don't have to be anything. I just have to keep kind of prodding you. Keep reminding you. Keep giving you hope. Keep instilling something in you that I might show up, that it might work out, that I might come through. You have the Six of Wands, and it's being clarified by the Three of Pentacles, which is really quite an interesting energy, because the Three of Pentacles is a foundation for any really good relationship. It really is. We're sharing a vision, we're sharing a plan, and we're equally collaborating. We're working together. I'm not here exhausting all of myself, and you are not over there sleeping under a tree. We are both actively putting effort and work into this. And when we're doing that, we don't really have time to be like, are you paying attention to me? Are you, that doesn't, there's no question of that. There's no, you know, there's no wonder about that, because we're working together. You know, we're both tangibly standing here showing up. I know you're paying attention because you're here. You're equally contributing. You're showing up in reality, in real life, making an effort, sharing a vision, sharing a plan, discussing it, you know, working toward it. How's the best way we're going to get these pentacles on this tree, or whatever it is they're doing there? You know what I mean? Okay, you make the pentacles, pump them out like a conveyor belt, and I'll get them on the tree. You know? It's a team thing. And if it's not a team thing, what is it? And if it's not really showing up in reality that way, what is it? You know? And is it something that you actually really want and are satisfied with and want to contribute so much energy and so much time to? Or is it something you're sick and tired of? You have the Hangman being clarified by the High Priestess. This is like, I've gotten a new perspective on it. I've looked back and I'm kind of realizing, hey, you know what? Maybe this person isn't the person for me. Or it's seeing things clearly, for sure. And it's also coming back to my highest and best self, and to my intuition, and to my sacred self, and my, you know, taking my power back with the High Priestess. Wow. Wow. You have the Eight of Swords. I almost called them knives. The Eight of Swords with the Ten of Swords. And, you know, this is like what we have been talking about this whole time. This is like getting stuck in a way of thinking. This is self-entrapment. And it's like asking the same question and giving yourself the same answer over and over again. But do you see how this person has given their power away to this entire situation? This person is willingly allowing themselves to be trapped in this tree surrounded by these knives with a blindfold on, because they don't want to find an answer. They don't want to see anything other than what they have continuously told themselves. They're blind and they're stuck. And that's not how we normally are. That's not certainly an ideal way to get through life, right? I think we can all agree on that. It doesn't look fun to me, right? And with the Ten of Swords, this cycle is ready to complete. This is that moment where it's like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't want this for myself. I don't want to continue to be in this energy. I don't want to continue to experience this. With the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, this is like, it's hard as hell to change direction. It's hard as hell. You know, but I know I have to. And so I'm putting one foot in front of the other, and I'm taking a meaningful step in reality. Not in my head, you know, I'm not telling myself anything. I'm just doing it. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, and I'm just doing it. I'm rewiring my brain. I'm shifting my reality. I'm changing my timeline. I'm changing my circumstances. I'm living in the present moment. I'm doing the most with every opportunity that I'm given. And I may not make it very far, very fast, but I am making it somewhere. I am better off every single day because I am moving in this direction. And that's how we begin every great journey. You have the Knight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. This leads us to a place where we are finally able to really follow our heart. You know, where we are able to really take our power back and to navigate from a position of, I'm not just doing this one foot in front of the other anymore, but I'm doing this, allowing myself to be guided on, you know, my authentic self and what I truly hope for and envision for myself. What is in alignment with my heart space. We have the Five of Cups with the Queen of Pentacles with the Six of Wands. This is another energy of where it's like, I can sit here and focus on the past and everything that went wrong and how I wish it would have gone and how I wish this person would have shown up and would have been and how it could have been if they would have just been and if it would have been different and da-da-da-da-da. It's a lot like yesterday when I was saying, you know, we're planting zone 8 bulbs in zone 10 dirt. It just isn't meant to be. It's not meant for you, you know, it's, you know, unfortunately, I'm not meant to have a gorgeous little walkway up to my house surrounded by daffodils and tulips in the spring. I wish I was. I really would love that. But that's not meant for me because I'm in zone 10 and those bulbs don't grow here. And so it's like, I wish they did, but they don't. I can either accept that and plant something that does grow here, or I can sit here and wish and wish and wish that things were different and do nothing about it and be stuck. With the Queen of Pentacles showing up here, there is this energy of, I know my time is more valuable than that. And I know my power is more valuable than that. I know better than to give my power away to something that cannot change, that I cannot change. Something that, you know, I tried. I mean, I literally tried. I literally planted bulbs that were, you know, to zone 9. And I was like, man, I'm kind of on the border of zone 9 and zone 10. But I think it was like lilies of the valley were and some irises were and stuff. And I was like, okay. Maybe it's going to be close enough. Maybe I can fool Mother Nature. Well, there's no fooling Mother Nature, okay? So I tried it. It didn't work. And now I know, okay, my effort in gardening, my effort in planting, my money on the bulbs, like all this stuff, it's not worth it. It's time for me just to accept what is and accept also that I am abundant and that the possibilities are limitless. And if this isn't for me, it doesn't mean there's nothing for me. It means that there is something amazing for me. But I have to turn my focus to that. I have to focus on the pentacle in my hand. I have to focus on what works and what's valuable. And honestly, I have discovered like a whole slew of other plants and flowers that I couldn't grow when I lived up north, that I can grow here, that are tropical in nature, that are beautiful, that are lush, that bloom for months and months and months. And you know, I do get zinnias. I can grow zinnias here, and they remind me of being up north. So, you know, I can find what works for me. I can find a rich and abundant thing in my current circumstance if I just accept that, okay, it's not going to be daffodils and tulips. That might suck because I love them, but I'll have to take a trip up north and see them in someone else's yard and value and appreciate them there and grow what I can grow here. You know, that's just what I'll have to do. With the Six of Wands, this is where we come out on top. When we are willing to accept the answer, and the answer is I deserve a hell of a lot better than this. I deserve a hell of a lot better than someone who never shows up and never gets brave. Man, we have the Five of Coins with the Queen of Swords and the Nine of Swords. And, you know, the Five of Coins represent all, and we have the Four of Swords here. The Five of Coins represents all of our basic human fears. The fear of not being worthy, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection. And I was talking about this earlier, how our ego gets triggered, especially if it's something that we've already experienced and been traumatized in life about, like being abandoned, being rejected. Then somebody abandons or rejects us, and it sets off into motion a response, a reaction, you know, especially if we were emotionally neglected and then now we're in this like weird non-relationship relationship with someone who's basically emotionally neglecting us. They're not giving a shit about what you're feeling or what you're going through. They're not. They have their own need to meet, and their need is to know that you're still paying attention to them and that they haven't lost you completely, because they don't want to lose you completely. It's serving them to not lose you completely. It's serving them to keep you on the line. But it's not serving you. And so it's an opportunity, right, for us to look at that and to say, okay, how did this get triggered? How did this series of events go off? And this isn't everyone. This isn't every relationship. This isn't every situation. But when things perpetuate for years and years and years and years and years, there's something there for sure. You know, I mean, if it's been a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever, I'm not suggesting whatever, but, and I'm not, like, again, I'm just reading cards and I'm just reading energy. I'm not telling you how to be or what's up. You know, my best friend, when she went through that situation and she said to me, do you think I should let this guy go? I said to her, I think you are the only person that can determine that, because if you let someone go and you're not ready to let them go, you're going to spend the rest of your life going, God, what if I would have just waited 2 more weeks? What if they were on the precipice of turning the thing around and I let go? I waited all that time and then I let go. Right as they were about to step up. So you have to come to your own natural conclusion. You have to be the one that says, this isn't for me. And I'm sure about it. I'm done. I'm done giving this energy to this. I'm done being here. I'm done doing this. I deserve more than this, and I know it for sure. And I cannot continue to accept this, because if I continue to accept this and go along with this and perpetuate this, the universe is going to keep giving me more of the same. I'm going to be stuck here because I've given my power away to it. So with the Queen of Swords and the Nine of Swords, this is where we cut off our fear. The Queen of Swords has been through the entire sword cycle, but she's allowed it to empower her. She's gotten discernment from the experience. She now has knowledge of, oh, that'll take me off in the wrong direction. That is going to take me further away from what I want in my life, not closer to it. She can look at things and see them very clearly without emotion, without going, but I love them. She looks at them and she says, listen, this isn't good for you. You know, you only have a finite amount of time and you're going to spend it all like this, waiting for this person to show up, to come back around. Hell no. We need to cut this shit out. We need to cut this off. We need to heal what was hurt. We need to heal the wound. And it's not even just heal. These are basic human fears that we all have and we're always going to have. But it's, where do I fall on the spectrum? Am I in the shadow? Am I in the light? Am I in the middle of the road? Where am I? And where do I want to be? Where's the healthiest place for me to be? Okay, then how do I get there? I've got to face my fear. When I look at my fear shrinks. So if my fear is being alone, then you know what? I'm probably doing a pretty good job of ensuring that for myself doing this. Because I'm alone right now. I'm not with this person. And nothing has changed or not meaningfully enough for me to say, okay, you know, they're coming back definitively or they haven't shown up. So if my fear is being alone and never having my emotional needs met, never being seen, never being loved, never being cared for, then I'm doing a pretty good job of ensuring that that's going to be the case. And I'm seeing that clearly now. We keep getting these cards of clarity. And I'm going to make a different choice for myself. I'm going to face those fears. I'm going to look at those fears and I'm going to say, where do you come from and how do I heal you? How do I get space and distance between you? Well, a lot of the answers rest in living in the present moment. Sometimes we hold on to things because it is actually a way of us protecting ourselves. You know, if we're dealing with an emotionally avoidant person and we really can see that this person isn't really growing or evolving or changing things or showing up or whatever, sometimes we'll be super attracted to them if we're someone who struggles to show up for themselves or struggles to believe that they're worthy of anything else or struggles to love themselves. You know, we'll hold on to these relationships with people who can't possibly ever show up for us or give us what we need because somehow we think that that is what we really deserve. And we're not doing it consciously. These are subconscious choices that we're making based on subconscious beliefs that we hold related to those basic human fears, right? And that's what I see with the Two of Cups in reverse, with the Five of Pentacles. And then with the Queen of Swords and the Nine of Swords being clarified by the Three of Wands. You have the Eight of Swords here, that stuck energy on the bottom of the deck again. And it is actually showing that form of protection. You know, that person is safe in the center of all those swords. Someone has to get through those swords in order to get to that person. So self-entrapment is a form of safety. It is a form of protection. It is a form of, I'm just going to leave it there. It's a form of safety. It's a form of protection. And it can come from, this is what I honestly think I deserve, or this, even if we're not consciously aware of those thoughts, right? So, but we have to really ask ourselves, because when we ask ourselves those questions and we do those kind of deep dives and we introspect, we give ourselves the opportunity to be honest with ourselves and to see it within ourselves. And when we do that, we give ourselves the opportunity to heal it and to escape the self-entrapment, to free ourselves from the stuckness. With the Three of Wands, this is shifting our focus forward. This is getting excited about the unknown. This is looking to the future and saying, wow, I have really cut ties with my fears. I have really done the deep dive. I have discovered what existed within me that perpetuated this energy that kept me here for so long. Now, as I'm moving forward without all these swords around me, where I have the capacity for unlimited growth. Sorry, my granddog was farting, and so I lit an incense, and now there's like black stuff in the air. Anyway, I got these paper incense, and they're great. They smell amazing, but they do let black little particles out into the air that are weird. Anyway, what is possible now that I have freed myself from the self-entrapment? I can't remember a time in my life where I wasn't existing within that mentality, within that space, within that limiting belief system. Now that I am not in it, what is possible? What do I have to look forward to? And that is when the unknown shifts from a place of being very scary to a place of excitement, of possibility, of, like, wow, like I've never been here before. And that's a thrilling freaking thing. And with the Three of Wands, this is saying, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I expect ships to come in. I expect things to be different from here on in. That's a wonderful, beautiful place. I don't know if this is you, Pisces, or if this is your person. Okay, if you're dealing with a water sign, I regret how I handled things before. I just need more time. I want to be vulnerable with you. Annoyed. I miss you more than you know. If you're dealing with a fire sign, anxious. I'm sending you telepathic messages. Controlling. I just want to go back in time. And you were so unexpected. If you're dealing with an earth sign, old flames, I want your attention. Ooh, we saw that. Your words speak to me like no others can. Wait for me. Oh, yeah. I am sorry I triggered you. Repressing. If you are dealing with an air sign, you have good intentions. I can't stop thinking about you. I had no idea you would end up meaning so much to me. Wishy-washy. I am overcoming my fears. You are the one. And honest. All right, my beautiful Piscean people. I am extremely grateful to all of you for joining me. I do hope that you got something valuable from this reading. This is a very, very, very powerful time, this Lionsgate portal. And, I encourage you to just even Google it and look into it and see what it's about and see what the possibilities and potential are. And if this reading resonates with you, certainly, listen to mantras, find your thing and do it, because you don't have to be stuck. That's for sure. All right. I love you guys, and I am sending you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.